Welcome everyone to my presentation on eyewitness testimony. It's great to have you here. What's the purpose of eyewitness testimony, you say? The purpose of eyewitness testimony is to provide evidence to the jury to determine the defendant's innocence or guilt, which is also called substantive evidence. Now, what is memory? Memory is malleable, according to multiple studies on human memory. For example, Elizabeth Loftus and her colleagues' studies demonstrate that both verbal questioning and imagery strongly influence individuals to form false memories of events. Subtle changes in wording alter participants' memories of witness events, whilst manipulated imagery can produce false childhood memories. Scary stuff. Now, my argument is that eyewitness testimony is an unreliable source of information for criminal convictions and should be used only as corroborating or supplementary evidence, given multiple factors that interact with the memory process, i.e. encoding, integration, and retrieval, that can cause memory distortions and/or false memories. Now, memory contamination or post-event information involves victims remembering altered or misinformation about the crime, often specific events that never occurred during the crime. Now I'm going to go over some causal mechanisms of memory contamination that come from Annie et al. And other studies. So we've got reading the news, recall, suggestive questioning, feedback from the police, imagining the event repeatedly, initial testing, source misattribution, matching processes, high stress levels during recall, hypnosis, individual differences, social pressure, trauma history, sleep deprivation, cardiovascular diseases, brain lesions, brain tumors, exposure to misleading information, the environment, affluent versus desolate, heart rate variability, anxiety, guided imagery, psychoactive drugs, antidepressants like alcohol, recall, effort, visual obstruction of Chrome, question format, and age. Now, when we talk about memory, I'm really talking about episodic memory, so memory for past events and not memory for facts, which is semantic memory. And another important factor that factors into false memories or having false memories is the forgetting that goes on. So we've got true memories that start off being easily remembered and they decay over time, and then we've got false memories that occur and increase simultaneously. Now, I'm going to go over the process of false conviction. So the witness rejects their initial memory of the event, then the witness states that they have made the mistake after being exposed to post-event information, which is usually not recorded in police reports data or court data because the trial occurs months or years after the crime actually occurred. Then they re-explain how the crime occurred and include the confidently told false memories. And depending on how convincing the witness is, the jury accepts their testimony as substantive evidence without considering whether the witness's memory is contaminated. Now I'm going to go over the forgetting and contamination definitions because they cross over a bit. So the weakening of true memories is a function of time as forgetting, and the strengthening of false memories over time as contamination. Just to give you an American example of false memories, so you might misremember that the planes flew into the Twin Towers first, and then last the planes flew into the Pentagon. Then you got an Australian example where you got drop bears which don't exist, but I found in generated AI videos, which we'll go over the effects of on false memories later on in the presentation. Now, another counter argument to my main argument is that eyewitness testimony is reliable for criminal convictions under optimal conditions, so lab settings. So Annie and Wixom Wells' main finding was that they found a high reliability of initial tests of eyewitness memory in laboratory and field studies. Now, the optimal conditions that they're talking about is using proper lineup procedures in a laboratory setting, which resulted in 95% correct identification of suspects. Now, my rebuttal to this is that, however, these accuracy estimates apply only to laboratory settings. And the 95% statistic is based on the belief that the participants and the lineup administrators believe that no post-event identification information was provided. Now, another argument is that historically hypnosis has been used to improve memory by activating the parasympathetic nervous system and enhancing learning. Thus, its use during eyewitness testimony may lead to reliable convictions. And Lindelof in 2017 conducted a study on 52 participants with brain injuries, and a hypnosis intervention given to them 1 hour a week actually improved their memory. But my rebuttal to this is that evidence shows that hypnosis is not the causal mechanism of improved memory, given multiple studies. However, hypnosis affects heart rate variability, which is correlated with better memory in individuals with higher variability than in those with lower variability. Interestingly, highly hypnotizable individuals actually identify more incorrect material. Just to add to my main argument, false memories are not solely about someone remembering an event that never occurred. They also involve episodic memory becoming distorted, which leads people to misattribute real-life experiences to crimes. Thus, identifying the true parts of the retrieved memory should be more important for reliable eyewitness testimony and criminal conviction. Alright, now I'm going to talk to you guys about the impact of AI on eyewitness testimony. Now, my main argument for this is that AI-generated videos create false memories, thereby distorting and reducing the reliability of witnesses' testimony. Now, how AI forms false memories involves participants forming false memories of AI-generated political influences, for example, and then they believe what they say, which makes them more influential, and over time, the participants convince themselves that the false memory is authentic, which makes them vulnerable to additional misinformation. Now, although in the study that I'm talking about, they found that AI content produces false memories in tightly controlled experimental settings involving highly suggestive AI-generated content, this experimental design provides greater internal than external validity. My rebuttal to this is it does not matter whether participants are in a laboratory or a natural setting when they interact with the chatbots or AI. The context of the interaction, such as the smartphone, remains the same, and subtle changes in information by AI can produce false memories no matter what environment the person is in, be it a police interview room or courtroom. To reinstate my main argument, it's clear to see that eyewitness testimony is not a reliable source of information for criminal convictions. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciated it.